This is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield from the Lynn Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Michael provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm Mike Mansfield. This is The Wealth Puzzle. This is Monday. What is this? Monday, February 3rd. My oh my, what a busy weekend in financial, economic, political news, right? We had the president over the last month or so talking a lot about tariffs, and then finally over the weekend he got around to it and announced that he'd be putting 25% tariffs on incoming goods from Canada and from Mexico. He also put a smaller tariff on some Chinese stuff. So here it is. The trade war heats up. Let's find a better view. I like that view better. Now this is interesting, right? So a lot of negative rhetoric. I've been, like I said, I get a lot of investment news and feeds coming in my email. So I've been reading this stuff all weekend, and a lot of negativity, a lot of dourness, and oh my gosh, this is going to create all inflation. And absolutely, right? There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of cause and effect. Are we entering a trade war kind of a thing? But when you go look at the basics of why these tariffs were introduced, it was really to deal with a few different things. The majority and the goal of these tariffs was to deal with illegal immigration. So obviously Canada and Mexico share our borders. And so the president and the administration is trying to deal with illegal immigration issues, trying to slow that happening at the borders. And also the drug issues, right? We've had a very significant fentanyl problem in the United States. Commonly, the chemicals used to make fentanyl are created in China. They're shipped to Mexico. Labs in Mexico create the stuff. It comes across the border. And so the current administration is trying to cut down on all that stuff. Now, the third caveat, which is a separate thing, is obviously in this kind of pro-America, pro-United States moment, is tariffs also attempt to encourage jobs to come back to the U.S., manufacturing to come back to the U.S. We make things stateside. They're not subject to tariffs, obviously. But really the focus is loose leaf. There was illegal immigration and drugs. And the nice thing is, honestly, I wasn't really concerned much about the tariffs over the weekend. The reason is I look at this more as posturing. No different than a week ago when we were sending violent criminals back to Colombia, and Colombia did not want to take those people. And so we instantly slapped some tariffs on them. And 10 seconds later, they said, okay, we'll take all of our violent criminals back. And then the tariffs were removed. So this is just a tool that is being used to accomplish some administrative goals at the moment. Even if you were worried about the true cost of inflationary pressure, let's go back to 2018. In 2018, President Trump at that time put tariffs on steel. And for a few months, the price of steel, in fact, went up based on those tariffs. And if you go have yourself a history lesson, you'll then realize shortly thereafter the price of steel started to fall dramatically. And so the true cause and effect of this stuff is a lot more, we'll say, aloof than the fear-mongering headlines are implying. What's funny though is I was getting ready to make this video, and then I was standing out in the conference room, and on the TV I see 30-day pause on Mexico tariffs. I'm like, whoa, what's happened already? These things are just kicking in. And just this morning, if you kind of go into the data points, the president of Mexico and the president here of the U.S. had a conversation. And they both described it as a positive conversation full of mutual respect and reaching a series of agreements and blah, blah, blah. Basically, Mexico has agreed to immediately put 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border to help with the illegal immigration and drug issues that the United States has been having for the last number of years. This is pretty surprising, right? I mean, what quick cause and effect? We bring up the tariffs. We instantly have a temporary solution. The the president has put a 30-day pause on enacting those tariffs with Mexico to obviously see if this agreement gets enacted. And that's really what the goal of these things were. Once again, going back to the theme of before this just happened with Mexico, I wasn't that worried about them because the opportunity to remove tariffs was very flexible. This wasn't just about formal trade deals. This was, hey, can we enter cooperation agreements with these countries to deal with immigration and drugs and things like that? And here we're already seeing the instant effect of it. I mean, even in this conversation, as I'm recording this, the market was down, I don't know, 600 or 700 points this morning on the Dow. It's already basically recovered. The other thing, that I would point out when we think about the visceral reaction to whatever's happening is look at DeepSeek. I recorded the video last week. What happened? Day one, DeepSeek comes out. China's got this fancy new AI. It costs nothing. And the market kind of crashes in the moment. And then for what? The rest of the week, it just recovers back to all-time highs. See, we're in a very visceral, exciting, scary, upset, excited, pick your poison word moment. And the market is very emotional and very reactive. And here we just did that again here Monday morning, is we had a very quick emotional reaction until we see the facts and the realities of the situation. And now we have a data point coming out saying, hey, maybe this isn't as bad as we thought. And, if we can all just work towards accomplishing some of these objectives in the United States with these other countries, then these tariffs probably aren't that big of a deal. So pretty fascinating moment. Pretty interesting to watch over the last 72 hours as this stuff has shaped up. So we'll certainly see how it plays out and keep you guys updated. Just real quickly, also want to touch on real fast the Social Security Fairness Act. So President Biden signed that in the beginning of January. Basically said people who paid into Social Security, but then later separately went and worked for some kind of job where they didn't pay into Social Security. Normally that's a government employee, so a teacher, a policeman, someone like that. If they had already paid into Social Security and earned their Social Security benefits, they're penalized when they take their private pension from the government. And so President Biden signed a law to basically remove that penalty. The funny thing is, so it's called a windfall elimination provision is the main focus of the penalty. That penalty ranges, it can be really low, but for most people, it's somewhere between $500 and $600 a month. The government, even though the law is passed, they have no clue how to enact it. So I just read last week that they're thinking it might take a whole year to even get this thing up and running. The government will owe these people back pay for 2024 and 2025. And then they'll bring their Social Security benefit to the full amount of what it was supposed to be, which is probably for most people roughly $500 more than they're currently getting. So that's still, it's not that it's a gray area. The gray area is when is it actually going to happen and how is it going to happen? So we'll certainly update you guys on that. But we've been getting a lot of questions about that, because we have a lot of different types of employee that worked here on the base and worked for the city or the police department or was a teacher or some kind of fun thing. So anyways, we'll keep you guys in the loop on that. Otherwise, if you got any questions, thoughts, concerns, certainly call the office, 805-500-7035. If you need any help, reach out to us on our website also, thelindgroup.com. Otherwise, this was quick and easy. Everyone have a great week.